Hey people, Intro here. 3v3 faction war this is, ST.a.N.K.o.M province, and Tyranids versus Imperial Guard. For the blue Tyranid team, double Lictor alphas, this is the Tenso, and we have Marky. These are melee specialists that infiltrate and disrupt, some powerful offense, and a bit of support alongside them. ST.a.N.K.o.M, the Hive Tyrant, a durable hero, walking through objects that cannot be suppressed with powerful offense and support, begins in melee with a basic synapse. I shall call you Julio. The red team for the guard, ShaFex is an Inquisitor, an offensive hero with powerful control abilities, begins in melee but can get specialized ranged weapons. Looks like the Deathcore of Krieg DLC. Alongside, ever faithful Leobuilt as a Lord General fighting in ranged combat, begins with a retinue of Stormtroopers, really strong defense and support, can also add to the retinue. And rounding off the teams is Hex as a Lord Commissar, strong offense and support, fighting in melee, begins with a refractor shield, can shoot his own fellas in the head to make him do more stuff. This is the Deathcore of Krieg again. Looks like a kind of late Sentinel came out there for Hex, but now they're doubling up with the Sentinels against the double Hormagaunt trying to come in from ST.a.N.K.o.M. Looks like double Hormagaunts into double Termagants. Meanwhile, this is Marky on the eastern flank. Doesn't want to approach the double Sentinels there, which can be a big stumbling block very early on for the Tyranids. This one gets the ground pound for Hex. Aggressively goes in and stomps. Didn't get the Lictor Alpha. Meanwhile, Julio the Hive Tyrant comes in from the flank, going after some poor guardsmen and Termagants alongside to shoot the Lord General. The Derek and Nigel there is going into melee. Does have a special attack, of course, that Lord General. Didn't see it go off there. Hive Tyrant's got one though. Julio's getting kind of low. Double Guardsman and a Sentinel of Hex now trying to force fire and focus fire against the Termagant broods. Lord Commissar now coming in. Not sure what it was up to. Chasing off those Termagants, I guess. Where's the Lictor Alpha? Off the field on that side. Meanwhile, the Tenso's Lictor Alpha pushing up the western side. That Sentinel's very low. Inquisitor also very low. No flesh hook though. I guess it was on cooldown. Now to try and touch the power a bit, perhaps. Got some Hormagaunts back there too. All the damage kind of evenly spread on these Tyranids over here. Double repairs for the Sentinel. Meanwhile, eastern side, the double Imperial Guard pushing through onto the power. That was a flesh hook, but the Lord Commissar had his shield up, so it wasn't dragged back there. They bashed at least one gen, maybe two, and they decapped the wreck point too. Now they're backing off, letting the Hormagaunts come in, maybe waiting for stomp cooldowns. Oh, this one didn't have it yet. Ground pound is in now. There's one. That was from Hex. Can the Sentinel escape? Sometimes you just get yourself in too much trouble to do the stomp and can't make it out. Warrior Brood in here for Marky. They will provide a basic synapse to these Hormagaunts and Termagants and have some nice power melee of their own. They're going in on the Lord Commissar alongside the Hormagaunts. Messed him up quite badly, but he does get away. Now the Tyranids on the natural power of the guard. Lictor Alpha leading the line, is going to get shotgun in his face in a second. There it is. Catachan Devils. Now the grenade launcher goes in. They should be looking for melee, perhaps. Warrior Brood are closing in. Catachan Devils do have power melee weapons in melee. Oh, they got Barb Stranglers up. Killed one. There's a Synapse Backlash. And the Medical Sergeant is in for ever faithful Leobuilt. That guy can hand out medical packs. Often will hand them out to the Catachan Devils first, because they'll get themselves into trouble. Also have some Catachan Devils from Hex here. Meanwhile, the west side is uncapped but turning blue. Crossbow bolt pistol in for ShaFex. Eats a flesh hook. And then is caught in melee. Here comes Hammer of the Witches though. Decent chunk of damage on the Lictor Alpha's face. Sentinel's going to go down here. Yeah, that was too much damage to repair with double Toxin Sax Termagant Brood and the Warrior Brood with Barb Strangler. Lictor Alpha gets quite low but makes it out. So does the Inquisitor and ShaFex into Catachan Devils. Maybe we'll see double Catachan Devils here. Warrior Brood's up for all three Tyranid players. Barb Strangler on all three as well. On the power here, northwest power, natural for the guard. East side, big fight brewing. 2v2. Hormagaunt's leading the line with Adrenal Glands in. Where's the Stomp? Trying to bait the Stomp, maybe. All reliable Catachan Devils doing their thing. Oh, but they got too close to the Barb Strangler there. Lord Commissar trying to tie up the Warrior Brood. Does he have the Power Sword, though? I'm not sure. Good job tying up the Warrior Brood. Might even be worth the Lord General trying to do the same thing. Lord Commissar chases them off, but he's taken a bunch of damage from double Termagants back there. Here's Julio. Might get stomped in a second. Lictor Alpha finds the Lord General and goes in. Warrior Brood are there. There's Crippling Poison on the Catachans who are trying to get into melee, it looks like. Hormagaunt's coming up that flank as well. Lots of damage absorbed by Julio. Multi-laser turret on that power. That's doing some good work. Julio may go down. Does go down. There's that Synapse Backlash. Does 10% of your health as damage and knocks you back. It's quite nasty, especially if you can chain them together. All of the heroes are alive barely. We do have the Power Sword up for Hex. All the retinue members died here. Poor Derek and Nigel. Inquisitors also got away. West side looking very blue for the Tenso right now. Lictor Alpha runs, though. Power going up. Looks like they're not bashing it at the moment. Oh, the Termagant Broods have to run this way. Might be tricky to revive Julio from here. The Tenso goes tier 2, as do all of the Imperial Guard players. ShaFex with the single Catachans and Guardsman squad. May come out swinging with the Bane Wolf, perhaps. Not sure how much red a Bane Wolf is. It must be at least 200 or so. Not sure if they have enough. 2-1 cap for the blue Tyranids. 100 VP lead. Lictor Alpha, no war gear for Marky Mark. No war gear for the Tenso either. I can't see ST.a.nK.o.M because they're down. Sentinel has done a great job so far. Just as this one gets into trouble. Looks like it's alright. Repairs coming in. Catachans need to do some disruption, but they don't have the energy right now for it. Barb Strangler and some Crippling Poison. Good approach from the Tyranids here. Got caught in a kind of awkward position, the guard, with some low health squads and no energy on the Catachans. They just got a heal, though, from the Medical Sergeant's medical pack. Decent stomp. It's a good fighting retreat so far, but I'm not sure if they can hold the power there. Another Catachan disruption. That was the grenade launcher. Barb Strangler really hurting those guardsmen. Ouch. Some mines dropped in by the Lord Commissar. They will be spotted by Warrior Broods, which means they won't go off if you spot them. Although you can shoot them with other things, maybe the Catachan's grenade launcher. Oh, here we go. Bane Wolf is in. So maybe it's only 150 red or something, or 175. This is unique to the Inquisitor, with a big old chem cannon that can dissolve structures and really mess up infantry. Also has the chem bomb ability. That's a big area of effect. Snare. That's quite nasty, though. Drops in the Venom Brood, almost taken out in seconds, and there's the Electroshock grabs. Is that it? Over? It is. Bane Wolf does not do a lot. Venom Brood packing in the DPS there, eh? That was like 2 volleys from each model, and it was almost dead. Zone Thrope on the way for Marky Mark. Manticore is up for Hex. Now what does ShaFex do? It's difficult for Leobuilt to go over there and support when it's double against Hex. But he might have to. Here's the double Termagants and the Venom Brood. We may see some, ranged Synapse on the way to buff those Termagants. Inquisitor comes in, still level 1. It's Ogryns on the way now for ShaFex, and they will need to be careful about the Crippling Poison, especially if they're chained together. But we'll see how it goes. Bit of a standoff on the east side, but that's a lot of Tyranids coming in. Look at that range, though, on those hotshot las guns of the Assault Kit Stormtroopers. Huge range, buffed by the Lord General's fire on my target. Good disruption as well, and now a Missile Sentinel's in there. Lord Commissar trying to run interference, goes down. Lictor Alpha levels. Here comes the Hive Tyrant with improved Synapse. Oh, a Venom Cannon. I was just about to say it might be a good idea to get the charge to kick off these fights with some disruption, because those double Stormtroopers with the range buff on that approach is very, very nasty. Venom Cannon is in. Shooting down the Sentinel. Would make short work of the Manticore if he can get close as well. Sentinel's not going to make it here. Sentinel drops, and that had the missile launcher. And now Julio the Hive Tyrant runs away. Ogryns are indeed up for ShaFex. Inquisitors down, though. Here they are. Oh, they took out the Lictor Alpha. Don't have their bonehead leader yet. Catachin's getting incredibly low, but they make it away. Got some Plasma Guardsmen here. Trying to threaten the Venom Broods, but they're taking tons of damage. Ogryns can do that, though. Doing some really good work, even without their bonehead leader. I wonder if he died. I don't think so. Genes to the Brood on the way now for the Tenso to fight the Ogryns. And Hex with the Chimera up. ShaFex with some Stormtroopers. Maybe they're looking to call in another Stormtrooper squad to have 2 of them. They work quite well in pairs. Nice DPS, big burst damage actually, isn't it, with the hotshot lasguns. Yeah, Lictor Alpha can't approach that very well. We have Pheromone in now. And the Feeder Tendrils, a power weapon that heals the Lictor Alpha on hit. Genes to the Brooder up for the Tenso. Maybe this guy will get revived. I'm not sure if ST.a.N.K.o.M, I think ST.a.N.K.o.M rebought. But they're coming over to try and revive on the west side now. Big pressure from the guard in the southeast. Zone Throat trying to get shots in back there. Provides a health synapse, a health regen synapse I should say as well. Barb Strangler shots. Should be aiming for the Catachans, I think. I guess they're trying to shut down the DPS of the double Stormtroopers, but I was thinking if they aim for the Catachans, they might hit like 4 or 5 squads with it. Lord Commissar acting as a focal point to draw some fire and soak up some damage. Allows that DPS in the backlines to do its work. Stubbornness is in as well. Help them achieve that and be tankier. And there's the Chimera. All these guys can reinforce off that thing now. Not sure what the Stormtroopers were getting so close for. Oh, they're going for the Zone Throat maybe. Lictor Alpha goes down. 2-1 cap for the Tyranid still. Might have to start rotating towards this VP a bit, fellas. Looks like they want to get the full power bash. And looks like they will. Everything reinforcing, of course, off that Chimera. Meanwhile, northwest, Hellfury bomb was dropped in by the Inquisitor. Ogryn struggling to get into combat this time with the suppression and the crippling poison. Genes to the Brood looking to fight. Nope. Looking to back off. They've dropped 2 models already. And now they flee. Both the Tyranid Lictor Alphas are down, I guess. ST.a.N.K.o.M couldn't quite make it over there. There's Electroshock Grubs. Electro-shocking this Sentinel. He's going to be alright though, I think. Maybe. There's some repairs. Don't think I've noticed them chucking their grenades yet, but that's an option they have when Hormagaunts or something gets close. Level 3, Lord Commissar. What about Lord General? Level 4. Lord Commissar, you need to put this shield down so the energy can regenerate. A bunker is up. Looks like a repair bunker. Because that Manticore is being repaired, mysteriously. Sentinel could back up there. Oh look, they dropped some cover in front of it so you can't get inside and steal it. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Guardsmen can build cover, much like this, although they didn't build that. Manticore strike. Gets a hit on the Warrior Brood, but only 1. Do they have the Storm Eagle thing? Yep. 500 to 325, but there's the 2-1 for red. They have the VPs finally. Inquisitor with a crippling volley which hit absolutely nothing, I think. Or did it hit the Venom Brood here? She's now getting shot up. Might be a decent idea to get her shield going. Ogryns are in, but so is the Genes to the Brood and Hormagaunt Brood in there too. And Gene Stealers are nasty. Melee superiority indeed. And they take out the Ogryns. So much power melee DPS. Healing on hit as well. Even more so when they use their Adrenaline Rush. And the Inquisitor went down. Is in tier 3 though, ShaFex. Oh, but so is the Tenso. Meanwhile, back on this war-torn eastern edge. Lots of repairs from the bunker. Chimera still going. Double Zone Thropes. Need to be careful of Manticore strikes. Have that artillery shot that doesn't hit friendly units is quite handy. Is that a bunch of Plasma Guardsmen? It is. can try and focus down the warrior broods and stuff. Genestead is still going. Catagen Devil try to shotgun them away, but they're still going in for some melee. Trying to focus down the Venom Brood, but they got away. And here's ever faithful Leobuilt. The cavalry has arrived. Sentinel in play here. Level 3, doesn't have the missile launcher yet, but he's done really well. 473 to 306. Tyranids have their 2-1 back. But it looks like we are going to see the west side turn red. Did they chuck grenades? I don't know if they chucked grenades. They may have just been infiltrated, which is what took that energy. But maybe they did. The Tenso sneaking around. Stormtroopers level 2. They've been awesome so far. Leobuilt is floating huge amounts of resources, and it's a Stormblade on the way. There's Electroshock Grubs, 473 to 288. Can they finish it off? Improved Synapse and Bioplasma for the Hive Tyrant. I think that Sentinel's done for. Electroshock Grubs last a long time, eh? Yeah, down it goes. Snared it for a while. Formagaunts just shot to death. And I think they just shot a barrel or something over there. Just shoot everything, whether it's moving or not. Chimera backing off a bit, still in range to provide some reinforcement for these fellas. Level 3 guardsmen with plasma, fully upgraded with their commissars. That's a good unit for trading at range generally, because they reinforce so quickly and cheaply. And they will gun you down. East side, big blobber Tyranids, asking to be Manticore striked over here. But I don't have vision of them at the moment, I don't think. 460 to 280 on the VPs. Can the guard make a comeback? We have a baneblade on the way for ShaFex. Tyranids could rip it apart if they get their rending claws. And there is a Venom Brood here. And they don't have Ogrins left to screen. Yeah, I was going to say, it's time for Purgatus maybe. And it is indeed on the way. It's expensive, isn't it? Yeah, 50 power for that thing. 2-1 now for the guard. Blue side being overrun by Tyranids though, maybe. I wonder if it's worth ShaFex getting the Manticore, because this is quite a big blob that approaches from the Tenso. It's a big risk though, because you lose a lot of in-field presence and capping power when you invest in a Manticore. Hell Fury dropped in. Lord General runs away. Genestead has taken a bunch of damage here. There's a crippling volley. That time it hit nicely. And they turn to apply some DPS. There's a Manticore strike coming in, I think. It is. One decent hit in there, I think. And the Stormblade shows up. A gun so big they can't turn it. Need to turn the whole tank. Here it comes, though. Plasma blast gun time. That was the overcharge as well. You see it disables the weapons on the tank for 5 seconds. But you can wait for the regular shot and then use the overcharging to get 2 shots in quick succession, which I think is the idea on that. ST.a.N.K.o.M had a really bad fight, it turns out, down to a Neurothrope and a Termagant Brood. I don't think they lost anything especially big. I guess they lost their Warrior Brood and their Zoanthrope along the way. But they're now tier 3 with a huge amount of red. Can drop without numbers and Tyranniforms and Brood Nests. And there's a Carnifex on the way for the Tenso, most likely with a big old Venom Cannon once they see these 2 super heavy tanks. A Baneblade and the Stormblade on this side. We'll see if they can do something about it. Marky Mark with a Carnifex as well. Lots of Venom Cannons is what they need. But they have one here. The Hive Tyrant's Venom Cannon is very good. Chimera flees, gets level 2. Done really well for Hex, this thing. Not sure why the Lictor Alpha is so intent on chasing it. He can't do much to it. And then has to run. Had Corrosive Claws on the way, but dies. That was a decent Bioplasma shot. What kind of damage does it do again? Doesn't tell me. Is it plasma damage? Like plasma cannon damage? I might be able to finish off vehicles with it. I know the Carnifex's version is. Neurothrope taking huge DPS from the Stormtroopers. Need to try and back off there. Cataclysm coming in, knocks back some Catachans and some Stormtroopers, and a Manticore Strike and a Rocket Run. Big damage there. Massive damage engagement against the Tyranids, but here comes the Tenso, I think, with the Gene Stealers and that Venom Cannon Carnifex. Didn't want to try pushing the west side, I suppose, with those two giant tanks there. ShaFex now with some Kasrkin. Can get their grenade launchers up to disrupt things. That's a creeping barrage there from the Lord General. I don't know who dropped the nuke. Oh, perhaps it was Hex. Hex is now out of red, basically. I think that was Hex's rocket run, and it was a pretty damn good one, too, in amongst that Manticore Strike. Meanwhile, power-bashing Imperial Guard, Inquisitors hanging out, deciding not to help. There she goes, now shooting her crossbow bolt pistol. Power node is a full power wipe, I think. Oh, gonna shoot some Venom Brood instead. We have some anti-armor Stormtroopers to help go after the Carnifex. And, you know, help bash power, too. 310 to 280. They've almost evened up the VPs here, the Guard. Who's down? Oh, the Lictor Alpha down there. That we saw. And Fist of Brockus for the Lord Commissar. Emperor's Wrath as well. And Flak Jackie. This guy's not messing around anymore. Another Warrior Brood for ST.a.nK.o.M, who has recovered very well. Probably used without number to get these guys. Then got a Carnifex and then a Warrior Brood. Carnifex is getting a Venom Cannon, as expected. Anti-armor Stormtroopers. Oh, Gene Stealer Brood coming in to run interference, and a Tyranid formation. Got a good hit on the Stormblade. Another Tyranid formation. And these Tyranid formation towers provide a nice buff when they come up to nearby Tyranids, so it's a good idea to push alongside them, which is what they're trying to do here. Look at the damage to the Stormblade. I don't know why it was so far forward. It's not going to get out of this. There's two Carnifexes right there. Stormblade down. Baneblade still up. It might be better to respond with Vanquisher Lehman Russes. Or just a bunch of Stormtroopers and las cannons and things, you know? And Ogrins as well. Ouch. That's a Stranglethorn Cannon Carnifex over there. Big shots against those poor guardsmen who are reinforcing off that Chimera. None shall fall active now from the Lord Commissar, so infantry, allied infantry around him won't die while it's active. They'll still lose health. And you counter it, of course, by killing the Commissar instead of the stuff around him. Kasrkin can run away, getting their melter guns in. They can switch their specialized weapon as much as they like, those fellas, for free. Gonna take down all of these capillary towers. So who did the two Tyranid formations? I think it was the Tenso and ST.a.nK.o.M. Marky Mark could drop one too. 237, 280. Imperial Guard take the VP lead. And Leobuilt now going for a baneblade, and it is Ogrins for ShaFex. Kasrkin for Hex. Making some decent choices, I think, the Guard. Manticore still around, doing some decent work here and there. Lictor Alpha revives the Hive Tyrant. Julio's okay, he's level 4. And there's Marky Mark with Corrosive Claws and Deadly Jump. Bioplasma hits some Stormtroopers. Manticore Strike. Lictor Alpha did lots of damage to the Lord Commissar there. And then I think jumped away or something. Down he goes. Not sure what happened there. Can they take down the Lord Commissar? No, he's alright. 208 to 280. Still the 2-1. Explosive? Oh, I thought the explosive was going to go off and wipe out those termagants. So Baneblade number 2 hitting the field now for Leobuilt. The Stormtroopers have been amazing, both level 4. Used them really well, kept them out of trouble as well. Leobuilt, level 8 Lord General, which I guess means Derek and Nigel are level 8. Well done, fellas. 190 to 280. Can Tyranid turn the corner here? Looks like they're looking to just get a Carnifex army going, which is often good enough to get it done. I mean, they took that Stormblade down really quickly, but it was overextended in my book, I think. Barb Strangler couldn't hit the Ogrins. So they are making a move, and they can apply some really good pressure to the Carnifexes. There's Crippling Poison, and there's Crippling Volley, and another Barb Strangler shot. They could try to time the Bioplasma shots onto the Ogrins. Maybe that was a Cataclysm from the Neurothrope, the knockback there. Is that a Thornback? It's an unupgraded Carnifex just going into melee on the Baneblade. Kagata's going through. I don't know if it actually stunned anything, or maybe it stunned some Hormagaunts. He's used a little bit early. That Carnifex is not going to last long, though. Down it goes. Had no upgrade and got messed up. Some mines dropped in by the Lord Commissar. We got Bullgrims in play with their big slab shields. Buffed recently, of course. Their use your shield ability no longer slows them down, so they can chase quite well while it's active and suppressing stuff, which means they can throw it on and still chase vehicles quite nicely. Stranglethorn getting some good shots. The Imperial Guard really holding the line well here. Big damage on the Bullgrins. One dies. None Shall Fall was not active there. Maybe it was active earlier. Okay. They rebuffed that push and took down a Carnifex. This one survived. What am I hearing? Oh. Catachans are power bashing. Hormagaunts come to say hello. Or maybe screech at them. 121 to 280 on the VPs. Some Tyranids trying to take a flanking position, perhaps. Lictor Alpha down there. Oh, both of the Lictor Alphas are down. Yeah, that one's tricky to get. They're both kind of tricky to get, aren't they? But Julio's up with his big old Venom Cannon. Double Stormtroopers having to retreat there, because that would have been a very nasty Stranglethorn Cannon shot. Another Carnifex on the way for Marky Mark. There's None Shall Fall. Can they pick out the Lord Commissar? Healing so much off stubbornness, though. Goes back to Emperor's Wrath. It's a decent blob here to hit with it. If he can throw it down before he has to retreat, there it is. Throws up the shield, and there is the Emperor's Wrath off-map artillery. Demolisher Cannon comes in. They just can't push through this. They may need to take it wider towards the east and go for the natural victory point, perhaps. Double Bioplasmas. Usually they're shot at vehicles, those things, because they do quite well as like a finisher off. And it's Liber Heresius for the Inquisitor. And she's got her Inferno pistol up. 73 to 280. The Tyranids running out of VPs here. Carnifexes just haven't been enough to take on the mechanized infantry of the guard. Bunker dropped in. No, heavy turret dropped in. That's nasty. That's big anti-vehicle damage right there. And Carnifexes do have vehicle armor. They took down the Carnifex right there. It just blew up. Oh, I guess the Inquisitor got it with her Inferno pistol. Well done. She had level 5. Down to 56 VPs. G's to the Brood. That buying some time with a decap. But then they go down. Carnifex getting low over there. Big retreats. This Baneblade is taking shots. Another heavy turret dropped in. Have they got a really short cooldown then? That's really short, it felt like. There's Julio getting some shots. Might be worth getting the shield up for you, buddy. So I'm not sure what kind of damage your Bioplasma's doing. There's a Tyranno formation, which typically one-shot structures, but these have vehicle armor, so it does not. There's a Paroxysm. That Baneblade is like almost half hit points there. None Shall Fall. And some Bullgrins around somewhere being knocked all over the place. That Lictor Alpha's done for, I think. Another rocket run. Bunch of friendly fire on that though, eh? Yeah, the Tyranno formation barely scratched that heavy turret. In fact, it seemed to do 0 damage at whatsoever. Like it bugged out and didn't hit it or something. Bunch of dead heroes, Tyranid heroes going for the Baneblade there. Looks like it's GG. They've got 3 Carnifexes, but all of the heroes are down for the Tyranids, and more heavy turrets coming in. Good luck approaching that with Carnifexes. Yeah, I think they needed to take their forces like around here and then rotate onto this VP a bit. Try to drag those baneblades around. But they went for him head on and it didn't work out. 44 to 280. Still that 2-to-1. Did the Tyranids have one last push in them? Looks like they're going to give it a go. Here's another Carnifex on the way for ST.a.N.K.o.M. And the Hive Tyrant is down on the baneblade. It almost fell asleep on top of it. Some brand new Bullgrins here for ShaFex. Ready to smack stuff with those power mauls. Great job they did implementing those Bullgrins. 2 Neurothropes are up. Are good against the Bullgrins. Because Bullgrins are super heavy infantry armor and all their psychic attacks are effective against that. There's Cataclysm getting some good disruption. Down to 16 VPs though. Hex asking if this is the last wave, and I think it is, buddy. I think you've done enough. There is Paroxysm. Doesn't do anything against the vehicles though. Emperor's Wrath dropped on top of that archway. A creeping barrage. 3 heavy turrets and a baneblade. Try to get close to that with a Carnifex. Not going to happen. There's a GG. And there is the game. GG indeed. Strong start for the Tyranids. But once those super heavy vehicles came out, they really stabilized over here. Even though the Stormblade went down. Didn't panic. Got a baneblade up. Got all these turrets up. And as I said, I think they needed to push the mid a bit more, the Tyranids. But they just want to eat stuff. We had a level 2 Lictor Alpha. Level 5 Hive Tyrant. And a level 3 Lictor Alpha. Level 6 Inquisitor. That Inferno pistol doing some work. Would have finished off that Carnifex, that's for sure. Level 9 Lord General. Derek and Nigel standing proud. And level 7 Lord Commissar for Hex. So there it is, guys. Thank you all for watching. Big thanks to these players for playing us a faction war. And the main man, the Tenso, for getting these games together and sending me the replays. I'll see you all next time.